Sal from To The Bigs here, your number one source for everything MLB prospects, future stars of the game. Check us out on Instagram at To The Bigs. Subscribe to us on YouTube on this channel. Hit us up on tothebigs.com and subscribe to our website for free for exclusive content. Let's get into this one. 7 blockbuster trade scenarios that I think GM should make going into the winter meetings. Let's jump right into it with an absolute bomb. Skubal. We all know he's not going to get paid by Detroit. Where is he going to get paid? Well, he may be a rental for the year, but I think a team will trade for him with the hopes that they can not only compete for a title this year, but also pay him long term. Steve Cohen does not want to make the same mistake he did with the Mets last year, where he paid almost $1 billion on the market and didn't touch the pitching staff. How about Skubal for Jet Williams, Brandon Sproat, AJ Ewing, and Ronnie Mauricio? The Mets have the system to trade and get this type of player. They also can keep Carson Bange and some of their other big prospects like Luis Angel Acuna and others. They can make this trade, get him as a rental, and try and pay him long term. And even if not, you get a big year on Soto's contract to try and win it all. Next, Byron Buxton. There's word that he has opened his no trade clause for Atlanta, but I'm going to give a different one just in case. How about in division to the Detroit Tigers? They need an outfielder. They need someone with a little experience, a veteran presence in that young lineup. Byron Buxton for Bryce Rainier, shortstop, Max Anderson, infielder, and Malachi Witherspoon, starting pitcher. Now, this is big for the Twins because they can get 2 big name prospects. Bryce Rainier is a stud, younger, just coming off injury. Max Anderson is an MLB ready infielder who could be a very quiet starting third baseman on a good team. Then they want some starting pitching. They can get Witherspoon as well, and that's a huge get for the Tigers. Next up, same division, Twins, Joe Ryan. We know he's probably going somewhere unless the Twins decide to build around some of these guys, which they could as well. But how about Joe Ryan to the Baltimore Orioles? Same thing as the Mets. They don't want to make the same mistake they made last year where they built a team and just did not touch the rotation. So how about Joe Ryan? Orioles fans are going to get mad at this for Dylan Beavers, Nate George, Austin Bateman. This is a huge get for the Minnesota Twins. They already have a stacked farm system, but getting Beavers, who's MLB ready, and Nate George, who's a very experienced college bat that was drafted last year, you have a good haul to get. And this is a big get for the Orioles because you get Joe Ryan for 2.5 years. He is a ace front end rotation piece. Next up, I'm a Yankees fan. This is a fun one, but I'm going for it. CJ Abrams has been talked about being on the market. How about the Yankees try and get a hitting shortstop? Volpe's not cutting it. He's statistically the worst hitting starting position player by OPS in all of baseball. This is a polar opposite. You got a guy who's not as good in the field with CJ Abrams, but can hit and be a leadoff guy that the Yankees desperately need. You're going to have to give up something because you have him for a couple of years. He's in his prime. He's coming off his all-star year. And the guy is a 20-30 threat, even if he hits 250, 260. You slot that in right in front of Judge. You're going to have to give up Dax Kilby, your first overall pick last year, who's already being talked about very highly. But remember, you have a Judge and Cole for 2-3 years max in their prime. Either go and win it all or don't. But you have to go for it. Next up, Ketel Marte. We know he's being moved. The Diamondbacks are all over this. How about back to Seattle Mariners? The Seattle Mariners have a monster farm system, so you can give up some good pieces here without actually having to go crazy. I initially had Felton Celestin in here, but I know they want starting pitching, so let's go Cole Young, second baseman, Ryan Sloan, starting pitcher, and Harry Ford, catcher. The reason this is so important for the Diamondbacks is they need an MLB-ready catcher. Harry Ford is a great piece, and he's obviously blocked behind Cal Raleigh in Seattle, so that's a great piece for the Diamondbacks to get. You have Cole Young as a starting second baseman, who I think is a stud. I really like him. If the Mariners don't decide to get Ketel Marte, I do think he can actually be a sufficient second baseman, a starting second baseman. But again, the Mariners are trying to win it all too, so they're trying to make a splash. Cole Young, Harry Ford are tough losses, but they have a deep system where they get to keep Michael Arroyo, Montez, and some others. Next up, number 6, Luis Robert Jr. Is he finally going to get moved this year? I think so. The White Sox are rebuilding fast. I said there's 2 systems that I really like that have not been good for the past several years, and that's the Colorado Rockies and the Chicago White Sox. White Sox have Braden Montgomery, Kyle Teal. They have Caro as well. If they can keep both those catchers, that's interesting. They have the 2 lefty starting pitchers who are absolute studs. You have a nice base being built in Chicago. Luis Robert is not fit into that. he deserves to be somewhere new as well and get a fresh start with all these injuries. So how about he goes to the San Francisco Giants, who need an outfielder, and the Giants can give back Johnny Level, who is a young international prospect who I love, one of my favorite under the radar type prospects. He's top 10 in that org, but doesn't get the shine that he deserves. Bo Davidson, outfielder, and Argenis Kayama, starting pitcher. So you're getting a slew of different positions there back for the White Sox, who need kind of to continue to build out that base. And finally, another splash trade. We'll see if this happens, but I think it's a great fit. Adley Rutschman has been talked about being on the market. Samuel Basallo is up. I do think he's the catcher of the future for the Orioles. I don't think they want to move him to first base. They will if Adley decides to stay. But I think Adley Rutschman would look great in a Philadelphia Phillies uniform. He gets to stay on the East Coast. He gets a fresh start coming off an injury and a rough year where people are very down on him, but he was still a number one overall prospect who had an unbelievable rookie year as a starting catcher. He is a centerpiece of an organization. The Phillies can try and start fresh because they have a lot of aging guys on their roster. So I know they're trading some prospects here, but they do get to start fresh with Adley as a centerpiece in that lineup. And then you have the likes of Andrew Painter and whatnot in the rotation, and Justin Crawford coming up, and you don't have to trade those guys. You trade Alec Boehm, who's already on the market, who could slot in the first base for the Orioles. Dante Nori, a very fast rising leadoff type outfielder, center fielder for the Phillies right now, who they don't necessarily need if you're going to keep Justin Crawford. You don't need two fast center field leadoff type guys in your system. And Aiden Miller as a shortstop. I know that's a tough loss. Phillies fans are very excited about Aiden Miller, but again, you're getting Adley Rutschman, who could be a starting centerpiece for the next several years in your system. So those are my 7 blockbuster deals. I don't know which ones are going to happen, but these are ones that GMs should be making to improve their rosters, both on the prospect expansion and rebuild side and the other side. Follow us everywhere, tothebigs.com, at tothebigs on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram as we continue to push out content all offseason, getting you ready for your fantasy leagues, dynasty leagues, and card collecting.